Have you wondered why your single arm dumbbell row has hit a plateau? Well, let me tell you. My name is Brock Ashby and I'm going to take you through why your single arm dumbbell row is plateauing and how to perfect your technique to lift more weight. I've posted this on Instagram, I posted it on Facebook, I think I posted it on TikTok as well. I'll get Dan to put my socials up here if you want to check out the short version, but this is the detailed version. So this is how I see most single arm dumbbell rows in the gym. Starting here, foot nice and close, flat bench, and they pull like this. Well, if we're doing terrible technique, which I will do, they kind of wing their shoulder like this, winging the shoulder, elbow high, shoulder forward. And if you didn't pick up on my voice, I'm not a fan of this approach. So this is how I set up the single arm dumbbell row to be more stable, because if we have a higher level of stability, we have a higher level of force that we can produce, which means that we can lift more weight. So the first change that we want to make is actually manipulating the bench. So what I do is I bring it up one. So if you just have a flat bench here, not this guy, this guy, you would just literally put a weight plate here underneath it, so then it'll be slightly elevated. Most gyms have an adjustable bench. We click this one up, and then we also click the guy at the back up. So now this puts us into a position where when we row, we can get more of a deep stretch. So if we're flat, if we try and stretch forward, the dumbbell is going to hit the floor. So I'll show you what that looks like. If I try and get a really deep stretch here, I'm hitting the floor. So now there's no tension on my back. But if I pull it up, and now I'm in this position, when I go to get that deep stretch, my back has constant tension on it. And what a lot of the research is suggesting now is if we put a lot of tension in that deep stretch position, that's going to be really good for hypertrophy or building muscle. So that's the first one. This is up. Now this one is up as well. And we want to actually put our tippy toes here. And I want your back foot to be as if you were Usain Bolt taking off in the 100-meter sprint. Oh, what's the new guy's name? Noah Giles? Do you know the new 100-meter? What is it? Noah Lyles. Noah Giles. So with the foot, we want it to be like Noah Lyles. And, as if we were taking off out of the sprinting block. So this gives us more stability. So now with my arm here, right at the top left corner, up here, if you're a bit shorter, you can bring it here too. It just kind of depends how upright you want to be and what feels best for you. This doesn't matter too much. Or you can kind of come through here if that feels good as well. But now this is super stable because my foot's up like that too. If I put my foot down, there's just kind of like less stability here. Once again, we're trying to get as much stability as possible for this exercise. So toe up, knee down, hand here. So we have these kind of 3 points of contact. And then with our foot, we don't want that to be narrow. If I was here on Instagram, I got Dan to kick me and I fell over, but you kind of get the point here. If I'm up like this and someone was to kick me from here or that side, I'd literally just fall over. If I want to be more stable, I want a nice wide base. And I want to be here. Now, if someone was to try and push me over or kick me now, I would just take it like a champion and just stay still, which is what I want you to have. I want you to have that center, that kind of low center of gravity as well. So we're not up high, we're nice and low, we got a wide base. And now if someone was to try and move us, they would be less successful as they would if we were unstable. Now, let's get to the rowing technique now that we have the setup. So, foot wide. So the starting point isn't here with our shoulder blades back. It's here, our shoulder blades protracted. And the first movement is locking our shoulder blade back. The second movement is rowing our elbow. I like to think of like rowing my elbow to the ceiling. So up here, pulling it back or bringing the dumbbell nice and close to my hip. And then letting out the row. And then letting the shoulder out down to that deep stretch again. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you get more confident, you can smoothen it out like this. I'll do 2 reps for you. So that's the technique. Mostly with the row, I want you to try and bring your shoulder blade back with you as you row. Instead of doing what a lot of people do, they keep their shoulder there and they bring their elbow forward. And they kind of like, it kind of cocks your shoulder forward like that, which is not a good place to do. That's taking the tension off our lats, which is what we can hit here. And you kind of put it awkwardly in the front of your shoulder. Now, before we wrap up this video, there's two techniques that we can row with. There's one to hit the lats, and there's another way. Option number 2 is to hit the rhomboids, and you kind of pull the dumbbell to different positions. So the first way that I was showing you how to do it is more to optimize hitting the lats, where you're bringing your elbow to your hip, and we don't need to go any further because that takes the tension off the lats. So that looks like this. If I want to row for rhomboids, what I'm trying to do is pull further back and higher. So I'm kind of pulling like my thumb to my nipple here. I'm pulling up like that. So I'm getting to roll my shoulder blades back a lot more than if I'm here and kind of squeezing my lats. It's a bit less range of motion. So lats, less range of motion here. Rhomboids, more range of motion and pulling higher. So this is what the rhomboid row looks like. Now, one is not wrong, one is not better than the other. They just have different muscles that they're targeting. So both muscles are still involved, but one kind of optimizes the row for each other. Now, someone on Facebook, this went pretty viral on Facebook for me, and people are just losing their minds telling me that I'm overcomplicating a simple move. The bros just do it like this, bro, blah. And I was like, man, this is just how you do it better. If you want to lift more weight, if you've hit a plateau in this exercise, this is literally going to allow you to lift more weight at no cost. Like, you just set it up different and it works better. So if you haven't tried it, before you drop a comment and think you're smart, just try this. If it doesn't work for you, cool, you can just go back to what you did before. But if it does work for you, which I think that it will, it's going to take your plateau and just cancel it out so you can start making progress again. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. If you have another alternative single arm dumbbell row technique that you specifically do, put it in the comments too. I'd love to hear what you do. If you like this video, there should be a similar video here. It's what YouTube thinks that you like. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that cool stuff. I appreciate the love. The channel's slowly growing. And if it can grow faster, that's even cooler. Namaste.